Hi everyone and welcome to the first edition of Microsoft Power Night. And I want to welcome you wherever you are joining us from. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And tonight we are going to make it a day with Jokam and Reza with us on this show. I'm going to walk you through quickly just the welcome address and as well as who I am as the convener of this event. And I'm going to be the host for today. By name, I am TheOyinbooke, and I'm a data scientist, business intelligence analyst, power platform evangelist with over 4 years of industrial experience. I've worked both in the education sector, fintech, and insurance space. I'm passionate about fixing the technical skill gap which is needed to accelerate Africa's growth. Where I co-founded Capacity Nigeria and EduTech, which is committed to driving digital literacy across Africa last year, and I currently lead the data management office at AXA Nigeria, which is a member of the AXA group. I oversee the data science team, the data governance, data quality and maturity, as well as drive automation initiatives across the organization. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer with over 8 relevant Microsoft certifications, and I'll be your host for today. Alongside with me, we have Jokam and Reza. We're still going to get to know them more and, of course, get imparted through their wealth of knowledge that they're going to share with us today. The agenda is going to be very simple, and in a max of 1 hour will be done because we are launching the community today, and it is worth it that we walk you through what this community is all about, how it will benefit you, your questions will get answered, as well as introduction to these solutions and tools that you'll be making use as we embark on this journey. First, let me talk about Microsoft Power Night. Why Microsoft Power Night? Year 2020, that was last year, was a really challenging year. And even right now, the world is full of challenges. One of the things that I'm going to highlight as part of these challenges are increase in unemployment and underemployment. The moment someone gets a pay cut or even lost job, it's not just affecting that person, it's affecting millions around him. It will affect the person, affect his or own household, affect the purchasing power, which ultimately affects the economy within where the person is. The effects cascade globally, and we've seen a lot of that last year and even till now. Unemployment as well as loss of job. Demanding job roles is also one of these challenges that have evolved these days due to analog and a lot of manual systems, especially in Africa, and working from home. There are more pressure on you to meet deadlines, more pressure on you to do twice as what you do when you are at the office, and all the technologies and all supports are around you than you are doing, to deliver what on your job role. Also, there is a call for innovation. The odds are actually favoring the tech savvy. We see people who can develop, who can build solutions, who can automate processes, gaining more relevance and more relevance in their workplace. These are few challenges that I'm going to highlight. There are so many other challenges facing the world today, but this I'm talking through them just to show us where we are going to. Just to mention that they were not just challenges, there are also opportunities. So the challenges were there, but not without opportunities. What are the opportunities? One, the remote working. This makes the job market, it strip the bans, the limitations on job, in job market. In the past, you must be residing in a country before you can even get a job. But these days, we see that if people that are resident in that country are even working from home remotely, what does it take us to employ someone who is also as qualified but in another country? So the remote working opened this opportunity for us, and I have a couple of guys who got job working for countries outside Nigeria because I reside in Nigeria, working for people in the UK, in the US, in Europe, all across the continent, while still in Nigeria. Remote working makes that possible. So it is an opportunity. Joe is still going to talk so much to us about this. From Microsoft, predictions, we have seen that there's going to be over 500 million applications to be developed in the next 5 years. This shows to us that we are right in the middle of a smarter world. And this is going to bring a lot of opportunities, emerging job roles, emerging skills that will benefit a lot of people who are able to ride on this wave. Can I also mention that we are currently experiencing the second wave of global digital transformation, and this is going to affect a lot of job roles, a lot of businesses all across the continent. It is only those who are able to adapt that will benefit a lot and ride on this wave. And that leads us to the next thing, that there's going to be a prediction, say also from Microsoft, that we are going to have something like 149 million digital and IT related jobs in the next 4 to 5 years. Meaning you're definitely going to do something great. Lastly, improve workplace automation tool, and that is where the community is taking the strength, because Microsoft have put in place, as if they know about this feature, they have prepared for this feature which we currently live in through the Microsoft Power Platform tools. It is now much more improved, and through it you can deliver automation services and solutions within your organization. How do we then tend to achieve this as a community? How do we harness the opportunities around us to address the challenges that I've mentioned and so many others that surround us? We're going to be leveraging on the Microsoft Power Platform and all other tools within the Microsoft 365 ecosystem. And what is the model? First, we collect use cases. We're going to come up with use cases, and if you have other use cases within your organization that you want to automate or you want to develop something around but you can't, we can develop a proper documentation for that use case, present it to this community, and source for experts who we then first do what we call solution architecture. How do we achieve the solution? They're going to record a video on how we're going to achieve that solution and share with every community member before we even start building the solution. That way you get to understand that when you have a challenge, first thing is to do proper documentation, second is to do the solution architecture. How do you address it? What are the components? What are the solutions? What are the tools that I'm going to put together to achieve this goal, or to solve this problem? And after that, we come together as a community. That's why it is bi-monthly, as a community, and learn how to do it. These experts are also going to come here and build that solution for us right on this platform. And once that is done, you can then implement yourself. You either go back to your organization, do this thing, replicate this project, and present, to your manager or whoever is the right unit to attend to that solution. Or you can even build it as a portfolio for yourself, because one day you're going to reference this for a career change. This is the model this community will be operating with, and I believe it's going to be a lot more effective. There are channels, there are YouTube channels that will teach you a lot, but this community is coming together to solve a problem. Take for example Reza, he is doing amazing work here on YouTube, and I'm going to also recommend his channel after this, and as well as the follow-up email that will come to everyone. Then, what is the impact going to look like? First, we see job placement. You become more and more employable, you become more competitive, during the interview. Smash that interview, because you have, beyond your job role today, you have additional things to have to the organization. When you talk to them about your portfolio in terms of data automation, process automation, chatbots, apps that you develop, and can also help the organization, definitely you become more valued and more competitive in that interview. Increase pay, yes, there's going to be a reward for innovators. The more you're able to bring to the organization, now they are willing to even to get you promoted and valued. So you're going to get the increased pay. Job satisfaction, doing what you love, especially when you become the go-to person, when you automate processes that already manual for yourself before, you get to enjoy that job. I have observed over time that a lot of people get bored with their work because it's doing the same thing repetitively. Many tasks, you are going over them the same time, and it's getting time consuming. The moment you lay your hands on these automation tools, which you're going to be empowered with in this community, you get more job satisfaction, especially when you get to automate most of these things and have more time to do the critical thinking, to do the strategy part of the business. Lastly, there's going to be opportunity for career change, and that's why in the next session that we're going to have now, Joe will be coming up to talk to us about how you can even switch smartly, to the job of now and the future. Lastly, I would like to say thank you a lot to people who have registered to be part of this community. We are proud to say today, as at the time of this event, we have community members spread over 20 countries. Majority of them might not be able to make it to this event. They definitely stream over and over again and be ready to learn and develop. And that is why it's a community to co-learn and to co-develop. Thank you. And right now, I'm going to be introducing Jokam, who will walk us through the career prospect in Microsoft Power Platform ecosystem. How do you get to land jobs? Do we even have jobs there? Why should I learn the skill? Joel will be doing justice to that shortly. While I bring him up, permit me to also do a brief citation about Joel. He has a fantastic profile, and I hope he's going to share briefly with us how he made the switch. After spending 18 years in the finance and banking industry, Joe pivoted his career and focused to the tech industry. Without a computer science degree, that's amazing. 10 years into this journey, Joe has worked in community relationship management, he has worked in marketing, logistic roles, and he is now excited and proud member of Microsoft Power Platform Developer Advocacy Team. And that is why he's best fit to help us address this subject today. Joe firmly believes that Power Platform, which is the low-code and no-code platform, opens the career-enhancing door to tech and non-tech people alike. He lives this belief daily, and I believe strongly as well in this belief. Thank you, and join me as I make welcome Joel for his presentation.
Thank you, Olan. Wow, you've really done a lot of research on me, and I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that introduction, but thank you very much. And I'll say before I get into my presentation, I'll say a little bit about me based off of what was just shared. So, like I said, 18 years in finance, in the banking industry. My tech background was. The extent of the tech background was playing with Excel spreadsheets and trying to maximize gain on sale of bonds that I worked on. Then transitioned into the tech industry with Microsoft, first as a vendor, and then became a full-time employee working on the MVP program, which some of you may or may not know of what that program is. It's a program where you work with third-party IT pros and developers and try to get them to work with the product teams at Microsoft to make the products better. Very, very, very different role and than what I had in banking, but very, very fulfilling for sure. And then from there, from that team, I then moved to the Windows Insider program and helped build out their Windows Insider MVP program, and recently joined the Power Platform Dev Advocacy team under Donna Sarkar this past July. And this is really cool and been a very, very fun experience for me, learning tech. Like I said, my background is not very technical. As part of the MVP program, my role was relationship management, project management, logistics, with an understanding of the software that I represented internally and externally. But moving into this role, definitely learning a lot, and it's been really cool. And the thing that I'm trying to share with you all is, whether you're in tech or not, Power Platform, low code, no code, it's open for anybody and everybody. You don't have to have a computer science degree. You don't have to be a software developer. You don't have to be a self-taught software developer to build cool apps. And I know that Reza is going to kind of talk about some of that later on, but I've built a number of apps myself, and it's the coolest thing in the world. So anyway, I wanted to give you my background a little bit more, go into a little more detail on that. With that, I do want to talk about what the current job market is for, and what I'm seeing within the Power Platform, Power Apps ecosystem. And I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully I will do this properly and correctly. Let's see. Is it showing up? Let me go here. Here we go. And then let's do this. Come on. Okay. So let's move on to this next slide. So this slide is taken from an article that was written June 30th by Microsoft's president, Brad Smith. And in the article is a rather long article. It's on Microsoft.com if you want to take a look at it. And actually, if you can go to my LinkedIn profile, and I have links to that, to this article. And the article talks about where we are this was again in June 30th. Talks about where we were globally due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And at the time, a lot of people had been losing their jobs, and Microsoft stepped up to provide free training for people using LinkedIn, the LinkedIn Learning tool. And it was great and really cool. But the slide that I wanted to show in reference to this, and Oman had talked about this and referenced this, is this number here, this 149 million new jobs by 2025. Now, this is in the tech community, and a lot of these jobs are going to be software development type jobs. And as we've listed here, we have 98 million. And this is all based off of some forecasting by some folks within Microsoft. But the idea is there's no way we're going to have 94 million software developers that have gone through computer science, get computer science degrees. It's just not going to happen. So now here we are. What can we do to help with that? Well, we can offer out we can offer up the Power Platform, and the Power Platform is going to be able to supplement a lot of the needs within that 98 million. And I think this is a great opportunity for you all. I know that there's a lot of people that are on this call that are in tech and that are very deep into software and software development, but I also know that there are others that are not, such as myself. So a lot of opportunity to see in the next 4, 5, 6 years. Well, I guess it might have been that 3 years. And to give you a little more context to that, in this next slide, this is some information that I pulled from LinkedIn, the LinkedIn jobs tools, or I've done some queries using Power Platform as the kind of the query keyword. And I'm doing this on a weekly basis. I post some of this information within LinkedIn. We have a LinkedIn jobs board, which I'll give you the information to that at the end of this slide or at the end of this presentation. But these numbers to me are pretty amazing. And you look at when I first started looking at this information in October of last year, worldwide, 11,000 jobs postings within LinkedIn had Power Platform or some version of Power Platform within their job description. Now, I will give a caveat to that is based off of the way that query works. It's a little misleading and the numbers are a little high, but the point is very relevant. And that is that there is a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of need for people with Power Platform skills, Power App skills. And as you can see from October to last week, the numbers have increased. And last week we were at 14,000 jobs. And that's a big number. And granted, that's worldwide, but that's still a big number. And of those jobs, there are people that are looking, there are employers that are looking for people that can work remote. So a lot of opportunity. The world is shrinking because of our ability to work online. I know that's a bit cliche, but it's absolutely the truth. And so these are some pretty telling numbers and some pretty interesting numbers. And I'll give you a little bit more with respect to this. As I've been looking at these numbers over the past number of months and looking at job descriptions, something that really struck me in November, I saw that KPMG, one of the big management companies within the United States, big management consulting companies, listed, I think it was 150 job postings at one time, all looking for people that had Power Platform, Power App skills. And since that time, I've seen Deloitte, which is a big accounting and management company, Ernst & Young, same, Booz Allen Hamilton, the same, and then some of the other consulting companies that are tech companies, such as Avanade, what is another one? Proficient, Accenture in India. They are all posting job descriptions within LinkedIn, looking for people that have Power Platform, Power Skill, or Power App skills. Now, they also are looking for people with other skills too, such as CRM, SharePoint, as part of those job descriptions. But the point is that these big companies, these big management companies, are looking for people and have a need for people to have those skills. And if you think about that from a funnel perspective, that number is going to get bigger and bigger as those roles migrate into more and more corporate entities and corporate organizations within marketing, within finance, within human resources, within operations, and outside of the IT admin roles. There's going to be more and more of that. I mean, you can see it. It's to me, it's an inevitability, and I see more and more of that as I look at these job descriptions. So a ton of opportunity. I know this sounds like a sales job, and I'm not trying to sell you. I'm just telling you this is what I see. And then to give you even a little bit more, these are some of a little more evidence. These are some queries that we get directly, that I've gotten directly from people that are looking for candidates. And as a matter of fact, I checked within the Power Platform job group that we have within LinkedIn, there were 2 more job postings today. One from Nigel Frank International, which is a recruiter, and that individual had 5 or 6 or 7 different job openings, looking for Power Platform, Power Apps type of people, skilled people. So a huge, like I said, a lot of opportunity, and this is just some evidence for that. So I've kind of rambled on and talked a lot about opportunity. I'm hoping that I made my case to you all that having Power Apps, Power Platform skill set in your back pocket and on your resume or on your CV is nothing but goodness for you. It will absolutely be a good situation for you. So with that, I do have some homework for those of you who would like to do a little bit of extra homework or a little bit of extra work. These are some learning opportunities. We have built, the team that I'm on, have built a free Udacity course. It's a Power Platform Udacity course. It probably will take you 8 hours to maybe 10 hours to go through the course. I was, as somebody who is relatively new to this, I was the guinea pig. I was the person that kind of played with it. And I have to tell you, granted, I know that I work from this team, but walking away, playing around with some of the stuff, and then there's a little bit of a UI, or an AI component to it, is really neat and really cool. So I think it's time well spent. If you want to go a little bit further, going on to our Microsoft Learn, Power Platform Learning Path, the second bullet point. And then the third bullet point is something that I've referenced a number of times, and that's our LinkedIn PowerPoint job board. That's a link for that. And then the last two bullets are two articles that I've written. One, I think, is a little more important than the other, and that's this first one, this Power App Test Environment. And actually, you will go through some of that in the Power App Udacity course, and we'll walk you through step by step on how to build out a Power App Test environment that's free, that you're not going to have to pay for. And so I think that'd be of good value to you all. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to take questions if there are any.
Thank you so much, Joel, for that session. Very short, but straightforward, and it exposes, if I give a bit of details, more details about the job opportunities in that space. I didn't have the statistics on how to break down. I just know it's 149 million projected job roles, but it was able to give us more insight into different levels and all the things that Joel has talked about, especially what he showed with us. We're going to send it to everyone via email. Every community member that registered will get those communications via email. Now we want to take questions. In case you have one or two questions, we'll be getting it posted and Joel will address them. All right.
So there's a question about whether my presentation would be shared, and yes, I think I've shared it with you, Alon, so you can share that out with. I'm not sure what tools you're using, but yeah, that can be shared out.
With the approval of Joel, it can also be shared with the community. We have a knowledge repository where we store those things and can be accessed by anyone within the community. I think I have a question here. Hi Joel, what is the drive or motives for your change of career path? 18 years in the banking sector to tech.
That's a great question. And it was actually, I was forced, to be honest. The bank that I worked for, this is going to show my age. I know that all of you are a lot younger than me. But in the United States in 2007, 2008, there was a banking, I don't want to say crisis, but there were some economic challenges within the country, and banks were negatively impacted. And the bank that I worked for was one of those banks. And we had moved here to Seattle probably 6 years earlier. And my wife told me, I like it here. You need to figure out how we can stay. So I said, okay, so those are my marching orders. I talked with a friend of mine in my neighborhood who worked at Microsoft. And we just through networking, we started talking, and I got hired that way. So that was the motivation, I think, is probably my wife, who told me that I had to stay in Seattle.
Interesting. It's a very good motivation. So it means family, you have this regards to family, and it goes a long way. Thank you for sharing that. I see. We have another question here. I think Israel Akaway is saying that it is great to know there's a lot of opportunities for people with Power Platform skills, but really, are there challenges or limitations you face learning and applying Power Platform tools to your work? Are there challenges or limitations you face?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think and that's a great question. And from a limitation perspective, I think the limitation is you. How far you want to go. There's a lot of great learning material out there that Microsoft offers and the community offers. I know that Reza has got a fantastic YouTube channel and does a lot of demo work on building out different tooling within Power Apps and how to connect to SharePoint and some other things. And actually, I've kind of gone through learned some things from him, which thank you for that. So my point is, there are no limitations. You are the limiting factor, quite frankly. I think that Power Apps and Power Platform I'm not going to say that it's easy to pick up. I think in the initial pieces are relatively easy to pick up. If you know Excel, if you can play around with Excel and you have an understanding of the ribbon within the Office applications, then once you start playing around with Power Platform and specifically Power Apps, I think you'll pick it up pretty quickly.
Okay, okay, great. And thank you for that. That's just to let you know that you are your limitation, and I can attest to that because last year when I got to know about the other tools within Power Platform, all over just in a night, I got to know, and I moved back to I know there are a lot of community resources out there. I just went to YouTube to start searching more about the possibilities, and Reza video was one of those videos I came across, and that gave me more confidence that okay, we have a lot of people that are already working to put the information out there. Under 3 weeks, in fact, the very first week I started learning that, I applied it in my workplace to do employee check-in exercise for our HR team. And even though that was my learning curve, there were a bit of some connectors, not working well. But after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I started working on several other things. And without any programming background, I don't need to write any program before I can do that. So as long as you don't put any limit on yourself, you can learn this and be more productive with it. Thank you. And another question we have here, I have Anne. Anne is saying, what is the best way to approach learning of Power Apps as a beginner?
So my best advice would be to take obviously this is something that we did, is to take the Udacity course that I referenced earlier. It walks you through step by step by step. It also has some hands-on learning that you have to build some things, and I think you will learn a lot. And then as you build, and then you would just build off of that. And another great way is when you get into the Power Apps tooling. There's some templates in that tooling. Once you've gone through the Udacity course, look at those templates, and you can break them apart and then rebuild them. And then as you're rebuilding them, you're learning. So it's another tool. And then again, it's to go out and look at the wealth of community material that's available.
Sure.
Thank you. So I can also attest to that because last year I took the Udacity course, and Joe was one of those people that put the course together, Donna, Jata, and the rest. It's actually a very good course. We're going to send a link to everyone to also follow and take that course. Once you take it, it's going to form a bit of fundamental, the basic knowledge that cuts across all the Power Platform tools, and majorly the Power Apps, Power Automate, using the AI, model and the rest within those solutions. So we're going to share that with you, and I also recommend that is one of the best ways to do that. And the second thing then is also by belonging to community. There are a lot of community out there, and this is just one of them. And I will encourage you. Here we are solving problem immediately. We are not taking you through the nitty-gritty of the learnings. And there's a reason for that. There are a lot of resources out there that shows you how to do this, how to do that. But in this community, we want to come and solve a consumable business solution every time we meet that you can easily, and you're going to learn a lot through that as well, but you can easily go back and implement that to form your portfolio. Okay, thank you. There's a question coming here. We're almost done with this. Just two more questions and we're done. Rahim is asking that, do you need to know any programming language? Of course, you don't need to have programming background before you can be a Power Platform developer. I often call them citizen developers, and you don't need. If you have, it could be advantage, but I believe that as much as you are comfortable with writing functions in Excel, you already find your way out into writing expressions in Power Apps and Power Automate. And the last question coming here, before we move to the next session, is from Peter Uwade. Can Power Apps be used to build chatbots? If yes, why is there a need for Power Virtual Agent?
Power Virtual Agent is the chatbot builder.
Yeah.
So that's why you need Power Virtual Agent. That's the tool that builds the chatbots, not the Power Apps.
Great. That's how, of course, soon, the next session we are moving into, Reza is introducing the entire ecosystem, Power Platform ecosystem, and you will get to understand this better, each component and what they specialize in doing, right? We won't be able to, okay, let me just take one more question. I have that's the question from Helmute asking which notable app has been built using Power Platform. Of course, we're going to see examples shortly, and there are a lot of use cases. But do you want to speak to that, Joe, Reza?
I'll let Joe take this.
I think because of the way Power Apps are built, which are inside the kind of corporation or the tenant of your Office 365 environment. I think a lot of the apps are, well, I'll back up. I've talked with a number of our customers who have built various things, and to me, an app that was really cool. I can't share the name of the company and the people that built this, but because of COVID, everybody's wearing a mask. One of the banks that we work with, the tellers were having a problem talking with people that were deaf or hard of hearing, because typically when there was a mask, when there's no mask, the customers could read lips, right? Well, because of the mask, they can't. So they built an app that they put on. I think they put them on iPads, and they're using that Power App to have conversations with the people, the customers that are either hard of hearing or deaf. To me, I think that's a really cool and impactful way to leverage Power Apps.
Okay, thank you so much, Joe, for that. There are a lot of other use cases. Because of time, we're going to move now to the next session. And Reza, from his session, a lot of these questions will be answered, and more questions will come up, of which is also positioned to help address that. I want to say a very big thank you to Joel for your time. And maybe I should also say this: we have a robust community, the Power Platform community, who are willing to help you grow on this path. I've not met Joe before, I've not met Reza before, but because we belong to this community and are willing to help, Joe was able to honor the invite. Reza is here today as well, honoring this invite. So grateful, and on behalf of the Microsoft Power Night, we are saying thank you, Joe, for your time. And
thank you.
Okay. Right, so now I'm going to move on to share a brief profile about Reza, who is taking this next session. We are done with the Q&A. Reza is going to be introducing us to the Microsoft Power Platform. This is Reza. Reza is a Microsoft Business Application MVP. MVP means Most Valuable Professional, and also a Microsoft Certified Trainer. Currently work at Catapult System as a Power Platform Practice Technical Lead. That is awesome. Can you see that his job title is already in Power Platform? He's going to tell us more about that shortly. Reza is an international speaker, trainer, hosting Power Platform user group leader, is Microsoft Flow All-Star Awardee, and Microsoft Apps and Power Automate Community Dual Super User. That is impressive. It shows how active he is in that community. He is passionate about sharing knowledge. Of course, he's here to also put that today, and learnings around Office 365, Power Apps, Power Automate, SharePoint, Teams, etc. He also blogs on all things Power Platform on his YouTube channel. I'm going to definitely recommend this. We're going to share the link. Remember, you learn from a lot of people that we're going to bring in here who also have YouTube channel where they drop in, walkthroughs, use cases, where you can also learn. We are not confining your learning to this community alone. Of course, we're going to bring to you a lot of learning opportunities, and Reza channel as well as resources from Jocam is going to be one of them. Join me as I make welcome Reza as he walks us through Power Platform environment. Hi, Reza.
Thank you. Thank you, Olan, for inviting me here. And hello, everyone. I have been reading the comments all through. I have my one eye set on the comments. So thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. And I think Olan has done a great job. Fantastic introduction by Joe. And I hope to keep the process flowing through. So I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen. Olan, you will have to give me the information.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so my session first is going to be an introduction to the Power Platform. A little bit about me. I know Olan has already gone ahead and introduced me. So I work as a Microsoft Business Application MVP. I say I work as an MVP. That's because I work 24/7. I try my best to keep up to date with the latest and greatest, so I can share my knowledge with the community. And I am here. I am a product of the community. I learned from the community. There were folks who helped me get here. So it's only it's only right for me to give back to the community. And when Olan reached out to me, I did not even blink and I said yes. So once again, thanks for having me here, and I hope that I make this short session of mine really worth it. So Microsoft Power Platform, right? The buzzword. Everybody's talking about the Power Platform, the business application platform, the low code platform. And this platform it comes with a lot of tools. And someone asked the question, do I use Power Apps for building bots, or do I automate with Power BI? Or this platform comes with a lot of tools that is provided to you. And the key thing is to choose the right tools based on the solution that you're trying to, or the business use case that you're trying to meet. And as part of this platform, because it's a part of Microsoft 365 or Office 365, the platform can talk to any of the services in the cloud, which is M365 and beyond, even on premises. And this platform comes with four main pillars. And the focus of this session is going to be on those four main pillars. The first pillar of the Power Platform, and many people think that Power Platform is new. It's not. The first pillar came out in 2014 or 15, somewhere around that time frame. So it's been 5 years. Power BI. Power BI is the business analytics part, or the analyze part of the Power Platform. And with Power BI, what we can do is we can create visualizations, right? We can connect to our data and build visuals, reports, charts, dashboards. And in Power BI, you can connect to any data source of your choice, no matter where the data source lives, on premises or in the cloud. You can share your Power BI report or dashboard with users within your organization or beyond. Power BI is a part of the Power Platform, so it seamlessly and natively integrates with all the other pillars of the Power Platform. If you are a professional developer and you would like to take Power BI to the next level in terms of what's already provided as part of the tool set, there is a space for pro devs as well. There are no limits here, basically, in the Power Platform. Now, Joe kind of touched based on this earlier, that in order for you to get into Power Platform, and I've seen a lot of questions, what skills do I need? Do I need to be a developer? Do I need to learn a specific language? Well, to be very honest with you, as long as you understand or have worked with PowerPoint, which I'm sure everyone has, as long as you worked with Excel and can work around some basic Excel formulas, I think getting to the Power Platform, at least from a beginner standpoint, is relatively simplified in that sense. And the next point is actually just related to that. So in Power BI, when you are building your dashboard, it's literally like PowerPoint here, where you can add your visuals, and there are these thousands of predefined visuals and templates available that you can choose from, and literally just point and click to your data and connect your data to the visual and place the visual on the report. And there are hundreds and thousands of visualizations that are available for you to choose from with baked-in native intelligence through the power of AI. That's Power BI. So if you ever need to work with dashboards or build some sort of reports for your business solutions, you need to think about Power BI. The second pillar of the Power Platform is Power Apps, and this is the app development part of the Power Platform. And with Power Apps, we can build apps for the web and mobile experiences through Power Apps. And Power Apps itself is a low-code, no-code dev experience. So there are scenarios in which you may have to add certain code to your apps. There could even be scenarios wherein you do not need any code to go ahead and even build your app. Joe spoke about certain templates that you can leverage to just spin off a very sample app that you can leverage for your business use cases. Now, just like we broke down the different features of Power BI, let's look at the different features of Power Apps. With Power Apps, you get any platform support. That means it supports all the major platforms, Android, iOS, Windows, and it gives you native access to a lot of the capabilities that are available on your devices, like the camera control, the GPS control, or the pen control. Sharing apps is just like sharing files. It's as easy as that. One click, you put the name of the user you want to share it with, and the other user has the app available to leverage on their mobile devices or on their desktop. Seamless integration, once again, no limit extensibility model. Very similar to PowerPoint, you can drag and drop controls in the app and place the controls the way you like. Connect to any of the data services that are available. And if you do not have a home for your data, you can even bring your data into the platform in a database called the Microsoft Dataverse. And finally, the logic that you will add in your apps is very, very similar to Excel. Now, please note, similar does not mean same. So it's not going to be the exact same formulas as Excel, but the techniques employed or the formulas that are available are similar in nature to Excel. So if you have some basic PowerPoint skills, Excel skills, you should be very comfortable with beginning with Power Apps. The third pillar of the Power Platform is the automation piece, which is called Power Automate. So the moment you come across scenarios where you need any form of automation, you have to head over to Power Automate. And with Power Automate, you can automate and integrate business processes with your data sources, once again, no matter where your data source lives. Now let's try and break down what is available or what are the features of a workflow or a flow in Power Automate. Once again, any platform support. Sharing flows is just like sharing documents. Seamless integration. No limits. Very similar to PowerPoint. Drag and drop your actions, connect to your data sources through all the connectors, leverage the built-in platform, and then apply the logic and use the power of AI. Once again, notice the similarities between all these services. They all are supported on any platform. Sharing is very simple. Building the service in terms of a workflow on an app or a Power BI dashboard is very similar to PowerPoint, right? And the logic has been kept simple. The flow logic or the app logic has been built keeping Excel skills in mind. And finally, the newest member of the Power Platform family is Power Virtual Agents, which allows us to build intelligent chatbots in no time. And with these chatbots, you can basically increase your customer engagement. And these bots, by design, understand natural language. And the features of the bot are anytime support. Of course, the bot is available 24/7, so no human interaction is needed. Reduce costs because you're building a bot for interacting with, for replacing a human agent potentially. You can interface the bot anywhere. Once again, understands natural language, uses the power of AI. You can connect to any of the services with powerful analytics available right in the bots. And to add to all of this, it's not just these four pillars. The beauty of the Power Platform is that the total is greater than the sum of its parts. So you're not limited to one or the other service. You can have all of these services working together. I've been lucky enough to work with the Power Platform for the last 4 years now, and I have probably done over 50 projects. I can vouch for this that 95% of those projects involved using more than one service of the Power Platform. So if I'm building an app, rest assured I'm building some sort of automation around it, some sort of notification, some sort of approval mechanism. I go to Power Automate, right? I need a dashboard because I want to visualize my data. I go to Power BI. And now if I want to add a bot so that users can converse with the data directly, I can even do that through Power Virtual Agents. So these are four major pillars of the Power Platform today, and this is an ever-changing landscape. We are talking today, it's January, it's the 2nd of Feb 2021. We might meet again next year or a month down the line, and then there could be so many new features and services that are added to this platform. The key here is that you got to take to the platform early. You got to start learning. There are a lot of great learning resources available, so make sure you check them out. I'm sure Olan and Joe are going to share all of those good links with you all. And because I have another 5 minutes left, and how do I know that? Let me show you something that I have open at the back on my second screen that I am running. This is a countdown timer app that I'm running. It's a power app. So basically a power app is telling me how long do I have to speak. So my goal now is to actually go. Sorry, Olan, you saying something?
Yeah, it's actually interesting. I'm sorry for interrupting. I can't hold that.
All right. So what I'm going to do next is I am going to close my presentation and do a very short, simple demo. I'll give you a real world use case of this demo. My organization uses a very old school .NET app that they had, not an app technically, it was only available through the browser. And this one was for expense reporting. And, you know, Reza being Reza, Reza always is curious about how to automate things, how to build apps, because I have been someone who worked a lot on the Power Platform, and I know how powerful this platform truly is. And I took it upon myself to build a very simple app that my organization actually uses today for expense reporting. So let me try and show that app. And in fact, I'll go one step ahead. If the demo gods are with me, I will be able to project my mobile device on the screen. So let's see if I can do that. 3, 2, 1. Let's see if this works. Great. All right. I'm assuming you can see my screen. And I am heading over to Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams is the hub for teamwork in M365. And I'm using the mobile app right here. I can even access my app through the Power Apps mobile app on any mobile device. So I'm using my mobile device, and here's my proof. I'm not faking anything. Here's my app right here. Now, I have a team here, and as part of the team, I have a tab called Expense Reporting. And this basically is a Power App. The total is greater than the sum of its parts. Now look at the different parts that I'm using. I'm using Microsoft Teams. I'm using Microsoft Dataverse to store the data. And I'm using Power Apps right here in the context of Teams to track my expenses. Now, when I sign into this app, by default, the app is contextually aware of the logged in user. So it's me. So it's showing me only my expenses. And I can see all my open expenses, pending expenses, approved expenses, rejected expenses, or all my expenses. Now for today's demo, I will go ahead and create a new expense. And I'm going to call this expense as Power Night. All right. And I'm going to put in today's date, and that's my date. I'm going to build this to Microsoft. I think Joe will be kind enough to pay me for this. And comments is Olan meeting. So I'm meeting with Olan. Okay, I spelled meeting wrong. It's fine. I'm going to go ahead and create my expense. So just like that, through my mobile device, I was able to quickly go in and create an expense. Now let's take a more real world scenario. I'm meeting with a customer, and I probably travel to the customer location. Me and the customer have a lunch. And the next day I got to go and reimburse my expenses. And this was a very painful experience in my organization because firstly, I had to keep track of the receipts. I had to come back to my office, log into my desktop, open my browser, and a very, very old school application. Why can I not do that on my mobile device? So here's my mobile app, right? Through my mobile device, I created an expense. Now I need to add my receipts. So I'm going to add my line item right here. And because this is Power Apps, we get all the native mobile capabilities right here. One of them is the camera control. So I'm going to go ahead and launch my camera. And this is live, guys. This is live on my desk right now. I have a fake receipt that I stole from the internet. But imagine that I'm sitting in a restaurant with the customer, and I got the receipt. I'm just going to take a picture of the receipt, and I'm going to select done. And just like that, this picture is going to be loaded in the system. And now comes another part, artificial intelligence. Now, my hands are here, right? I'm not typing anything. If you notice, what's happening right now is artificial intelligence is actually scanning through this receipt and getting me the data points, like the merchant's name. That's the name is Hibachi Buffet. That's what it picked up. The total cost is $48.60, and the transaction date is the 1st of Jan. So guess what? I did not even have to plug in a single piece of metadata right here. Just by taking the picture and the power of AI, all that information got added for me right here. And I'm going to click save. And I can just go through this process over and over again and just keep adding my receipts. Once I'm done with adding all my receipts, what's next? Well, it needs to go to my manager for approval. So I'm going to click submit. And this is a Power App. So right now we are only in Power Apps. I am interacting with my data in Power Apps, and I just submitted my request. Now, what's going to happen at the back end now is this expense that I just submitted, you'll see the status is pending. I can even see the details of the receipt that I uploaded. And now what's happening is, if you notice the approver option on the top, this is assigning it to the manager in AD. So Power Apps can even talk to Active Directory, so I can see who my manager is. And it's gone ahead and actually sent a notification to my manager for approval. And once my manager approves this request, I will be notified about it, and then it moves to the next step, which is the human resources team or the finance team, so that they can reimburse me in the next month in my salary. So that is one example of something so powerful that I built literally writing very few lines of code, because I'm using one of the templates that's provided. Second, I'm using Dataverse, which is the data source. I'm using AI, which is so easy to build and train. I'm using apps to build this app. I'm using Power Automate for approvals. I'm using Teams because I work in Microsoft Teams. And now one final thing around all of this. I even have a chatbot that I can talk to. Remember natural language processing? So let's say I'm going to say hello. So I'm saying hello to the bot. And now the bot is going to say, okay, once the bot understands the intent of my text, it responds, hi, Reza. I am a virtual agent. I can help you with details around your expense. I'm going to say, yeah, I need my expense details, please. Okay. Natural language. I'm just literally typing what I feel right now. And it says, okay, you want your expense details. What kind of status are you looking out for? Any status, pending, approved? I'll say, you know what? Show me all my pending expenses. So now it's going to again, interpret my response and say, okay, I can search for your pending expenses. What is the dollar amount you're looking for? Like, are you looking for a minimum dollar amount in your expenses? So let's say I'm going to say, yeah, $10. Remember, natural language. I could have even typed the number 10. The bot is so smart. It's going to pick up the fact that I'm asking for something greater than $10. And now what's happening is it's actually scanning the database to figure out if there are any expenses that are pending. That's number one. And any expenses that are greater than $10. And if you notice, the second last option right there is Power Night. Because when I created that expense, the receipt here was $48.60. So it actually picked that up and put it in there. And I was trying to waste time. While I showed you this, I'm also playing the role of my manager. So here's the approval task that comes into Teams. So imagine I am now playing the role of a manager. The manager gets notified that Reza is asking for approval around Power Night. There's a link right here that will take me to that record. Do you approve this or reject this? I'm in Teams. I'm going to say, yes, I want to approve this. Reza is a good boy. I don't know. It just came to me. I'm going to submit this. And when I do this, in Teams, it's going to log that information. And now, if the user signs back into the app, let's go and see what happened right there. So if I go back to my expense reporting app, this time, once the flow interprets the change, the status here will change to approved. Okay, so this is how powerful the scenario is. And You can build apps for literally any specific purpose that you have. And I hope that this example just gives you an idea as to how powerful AI truly is, because if you mix the power of the platform along with artificial intelligence, along with all the good stuff that comes with it, you can truly create end-to-end business solutions. Thank you. And you see my timer is up as well at 0. So I stop.
Wow. Thank you so much, Reza. I don't even know how to, appreciate you for that powerful session. Very short, but straight to the point. It exposed us to a lot of possibilities within the Power Platform ecosystem. I personally learning again, learning over and over again, like I always do with your channel and your resources out there. And seeing the example you shared with us now gave a lot of confidence, because I have something that I want to do similar to what you have shared now, which is going to bring much more value to the organization that I work, currently for. This session is not without question as well. A lot of people have been buzzing in the comment section. Oh, that was cool, that was awesome, impressive. But we have questions that also follow. So let's take this time to look at those questions.
Sure.
First, I have one here. Are there limitations? There's this question from Kolade Abraham. Are there limitations to the apps built with Microsoft Power Apps? I'm not sure if that question is clear.
It's a great question, actually. It's a question that every app maker should be asking, but I don't think every app maker asks that question, because the end goal is I have a customer requirement, I have to build something and give it to the customer. So to be very honest with you, are there limitations? Every service, every product has its limitations. Before the call today, Joe was discussing around delegation in Power Apps. That is one topic. That is one of the limitations, right? There are ways around these limitations, and it's a learning curve. When you begin, if you're a beginner to Power Apps, you're not going to look at the limitations. You're going to focus on what can I build today, right? Once you get into the nitty gritty of, okay, I've understood how to build an app. Now I need to connect to a database. Okay, I can get that working. All right, my database has 1 million records. Now, think about this. Can Power Apps load 1 million records on my mobile device? Can it do that? Think about it. Can it do that? Potentially, yes. But technically speaking, no. You should not be doing that. You should only load data in batches because you're working on a mobile device. So there are limitations, and the more you play with the product, the more accustomed you will get to it, and you will learn more about the limitations. Great question.
Wow. Thank you for that. I also have another question here. Can Power Apps be published on Play Store like other apps?
So the answer to this is, there are multiple Play Stores here. I can build a Play Store for my organization, and I can publish my apps just so that users in my organization can build apps off like templates. There is also something called as Microsoft App Source. So if you are a partner with Microsoft, my company is, so we can build apps and we can package not just the app, but you can package the business logic, the data, the BI report. You can package all of that up and sell it on the App Source. So the answer to that is yes.
Okay, thank you. There's this question here. Maybe not a question from Ifalua. Can I connect with you on LinkedIn, Joe, Reza, and Ola? Yes, I will try to post a LinkedIn link right here on the chat. And much more than that, if you belong to the community, you get email just 2 hours after this show. We're going to push the link to connect directly with Joe and Reza, as well as myself, to you on LinkedIn. All right.
The answer to this question is definitely a yes.
Thank you. Now, there's another interesting question from Israel Kobe. Is it possible to use Power Apps to create apps that can work offline?
Great question again. You all mentioned about my YouTube channel. The number one request I get is, Reza, when are you showing us offline apps? I am working on it. The answer is yes, you can store data offline. Once again, you need to be aware of mobile devices. Mobile devices have limits into how much data can be stored offline, and Power Apps comes with a data limit on how much data you can store offline. So as long as you are within those limits, you can potentially use offline capabilities of Power Apps. So the answer to this is yes.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Another question here is just to show that how does the versatility of apps created with Power App compare to apps created with traditional programming languages, say Java and the rest?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, great question. I come from a programming background. I worked on .NET. I worked on Java very early on, C, C++. So I've come through all those hoops. Uh, and there was a phase in my career, early 2012, where I worked on app development, I think. Uh, I mean, the year may not be right, but we built an app and it took us 6 months to build an app that does 10% of what I just demoed today. A lot of effort. You got to understand the coding language for iOS and Android, and how do I publish it to the iOS store and Android store, and it's a lot of work. And can you build something that what I demonstrated today? Can you build that in Java or C Sharp or some other language? Can I build it? Yes, you can. You can of course do it. However, can you beat the time taken? No, you cannot. Whatever I showed you today, I built it in 4 days. 4 days. That includes the automation, the bot, the logic. 4 days. I don't think any platform offers rapid development as the Power Platform does. And I have the power of AI on my fingertips. So, is it possible? Yes. What's the advantage Power Platform gives you is that anyone can come in and build an app that works like this in a matter of days once you understand the basics of the platform.
Awesome. I truly agree with that because if you look at the efforts needed for you to build the application just demoed for us now using another language, it might not even be something that only you will have to work on. It's going to be more of the team's work. Some guys working on the front end, except you're a full stack developer, and you're still going to leverage on other platforms to host, to publish, and the rest. Meanwhile, in Power Apps, once you have the app set up, once you get you can even consume templates. And like Reza said, he extended the functionality of the template that already exists on that platform. And that way, in 30 minutes, your first application can be live.
Yep.
Which you won't be able to do that when you are building from scratch using any of those languages. Thank you for that response. There's another question here.
Yes.
From Emmanuel. So what will you say about the cost of integrating these tools? For example, the one you just showed us. Is it clear?
So I'll tell you what, all the stuff that I demoed today, the only cost incurred is the Office licensing cost, which is the standard Office 365 licenses. All the stuff I demoed today uses standard licensing, and the only thing that was premium there was the artificial intelligence piece of scanning the receipt. That was the only part that had a cost associated with it from a licensing standpoint. Apart from that, everything was just out of the box standard license stuff. There was no additional cost that I had to incur. And my organization is using this at scale. We have around, well, we are not a big organization, but we have around 400 people and we are using this.
Wow. So, like you said, there's pretty, nothing as much as in building this using another language or another platform. You are not incurring that cost because with Microsoft Office 365, which is the Microsoft 365 license, you have access to several tools and applications as well as Power Apps and Power Automate at the basic level, depending on the license you have. If you have the E3, E5, you might have Power BI included. But Power Virtual Agent is on license base. You have to pay for that.
And can I add something here? Many folks say that features are premium. I can't try it out. I don't have a license. Well, there is an Office 365 dev license that you can sign up for. It's free. As long as you do development, you get one account for free. That's what the demo that I gave you today is in my free tenant. It's a free tenant with a free license. For Power Apps, you can get a community plan that is also free, that gives you access to the premium features for free. And you can take trial licenses for virtual agents and AI. You can literally build the whole thing that I showed you for free and then take it to your manager or your business user or your clients and show them the power of this platform, because I think it's a matter of show and tell. Once you build something and you show it to someone, once they understand the power of this platform, uh, they are going to buy it.
Wow. Okay, thank you. Like I said, true. And I have a video on my this same YouTube channel. If you go there, how to get free Microsoft 365 license, which is the developer account. Just some walkthrough. Remember, it's for learning purpose. It's not for commercial purpose. And since you want to learn, you can take advantage of the developer account, like Reza mentioned. The question here, we're almost done now. It's a long question. What exactly is the dataverse? Good naming convention, by the way. Also, how does the dataverse integrate with other data sources in an organization that doesn't really make use of Microsoft data sources?
Great question. So, what exactly is the Dataverse? The Dataverse, for someone who's worked with the platform before, it had an earlier name called the Common Data Service or the CDS. Microsoft Dataverse is just the naming convention that has been given for a database that is created as part of the Power Platform. It's not just a database, it's a data service. It's backed by Azure. It can scale. It has rich data types. It is relational in nature. I can go on and on about this data service. It's an extremely powerful system that has been built, and the experience comes from Dynamics, and it is extremely powerful in nature. And can I integrate this with any other data source? With Dataverse, you get something known as Power Query. So you can pull in your data into Dataverse no matter where your data lives. So you have data in a file share, in an Excel file, in Amazon Redshift, in SQL. You can pull it into Dataverse in a matter of minutes. Possible.
Okay, thank you for that response. As a matter of fact, you cannot understand dataverse just by definition, and Reza is trying as much to I can't even explain as much as he has explained. But when you start using this solution, you get to understand, oh, this is the importance of dataverse, this is the flexibility that brings in with your solution, and this is the advantage of having your data connected to dataverse package. All right. Of course, as you learn alongside, both from different resources and this community, you're going to get to know more. How does it help you? All right. So we're done here. I just want to pass a comment. There's someone here, Akonde Babatunde, who's saying, awesome presentation, Reza. Your YouTube content has been very helpful to me personally. Thanks so much. So this just to re-emphasize on the great work that Reza is doing out there. And also, by the time you take the course, Udacity Power Platform course, you will so much appreciate the effort that Geocamp and his team has put into demystifying, the knowledge part. When you take that course, I took it last year. I was just like, wow, it's for the layman. I don't care what you have, the level of knowledge you have now. When you go take that course, you will have everything. You'll be able to digest and have better understanding of the entire ecosystem that can kickstart the journey for you. Thank you, everyone. And just to share my screen for the last part of this event, that what do we have next? We're done with the question and answer. The next meeting date and what are the details? The next meeting date is February 17th. We're going to send this communication to everyone because it's going to be twice in a month. February 17th, which is GMT +1. For those joining us from CST time or PST time, it is 5:15 p.m. And our use case is going to be payment request and approval solution. Wow. I don't know, Reza will show us something similar to this. Well, the intention is not even to build an application to do this yet, but to leverage on SharePoint, leverage on Microsoft Form, and Power Automate, connecting these three solutions together to do something with Microsoft Teams, so that you can grant approval within Teams or Outlook as it may apply. Get ready by February 17 as we learn how to build a simple payment request and approval solution which integrates the three things which I've mentioned: SharePoint list, Microsoft Power Automate, and Microsoft Forms with Teams or Outlook. And maybe after that, we're then going to see how to implement similar solutions using the Power Apps. That way, you have two different approaches to solving this challenge. And that is why, one of the reasons why the Power Platform is really robust. You can think when you are designing your solution, you can think and use different components. You can achieve the same solution by using different components. Like I said, you can do Power Apps that integrate with this component, maybe storing the data even on SharePoint, using Power Automate as the approver, Microsoft Teams, integrating directly to Teams, or sending the request to email for execution. Or you can, in case you are not yet comfortable with using Power Apps by now, you can build a Microsoft form mimicking the front end, SharePoint list mimicking the back end, and Power Automate as the middle layer. Did I get that right, Reza and Joe?
You did.
Okay, so that is where we're stopping today. I don't know how to appreciate the guests that we have today, Joe Camp and Reza Durrani. Just to ask you, on a final note, what will you say to the community? Just a word of encouragement.
Joe, go first.
Put me on the spot. Let's see. I think words of encouragement. Obviously take the Udacity course, my suggestion. And then from an encouragement perspective, there will be bumps. Just as when you learn anything, you will get stuck. That's okay. I get stuck. This laptop that I'm using, I got mad and almost threw it out the window because something didn't work. But that's okay. That's going to happen. You will learn from it and you will grow. So my advice is just be persistent, leverage the community. You will learn a lot and then you'll just grow immensely.
I would like to just add to what Joe said. Honestly, get connected to the community today. Olan is doing a great job. Get connected here, right? Get connected with this group. Go ahead, share the word around. Look, if you don't share, you're not going to get the goodwill back, right? Start sharing today. Share your knowledge. You learn something good, go blog about it. Go share it with someone. Come here and probably present it on this call right here. You never know what it could potentially ignite. So go ahead, try things out. Don't be afraid because, as Joe mentioned, there are no limits. And thank you, Olan, for having me and Joe here. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Olan, very much.
Thank you so much for that final word of encouragement. And on this note, we've come to the end of Microsoft Power Night event for February 3rd. And we're going to have a countdown.